G'day League lovers, it's Thumpy Chapman here doing the Round 6 review. I'm just going to get straight into it. It's a pretty good week all in all. I think said that in one of these emails, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. There's only one average score and one lesser score, but we'll get to that in just a second. It started out with the Bulldogs playing the Raiders on Friday night at ANZ Stadium. The Raiders beat the Bulldogs. I think I predicted that the Dogs are going to beat the Raiders by 1. Actually, the Raiders beat the Dogs by 8. So, look, the Dogs had a bit of a rough week and the Raiders did very well. They moved into top spot. Their highest scorer was Corey Norman with 23.2. Let's move that over here. And look, the Bulldogs had Steve Michaels score a 0.9. You got to hate when that happens. It's just nothing you can do about it. Hope for better next week. Yeah, pretty convincing win. The next was the Steelers versus the Broncos. The Broncos had a pretty good win here, though I was kind of hopeful with the Steelers' performance. Steve Maddai had a 5, and Joel Reddy didn't play. But apart from that, we all got double digits, and Reece Robinson got a game high 29.2, which I was very impressed with. We're on our way out. We're coming back. We didn't win by 8 or whatever it was that I predicted, but yeah, Broncos doing very well. The next game on Saturday night was the Reds versus the Dragons. The Reds came out eventual winners here, 169.6 raw points versus 166.3 raw points. The highest scorer there in that game was Akila Uwate with 25 points, and the Dragons had, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, Sisawaka. I don't know that. He didn't play, and neither did Matt Pryor, so they would have done a bit better if they had a couple of those players playing. Antonio Winterstein was the lowest scorer with 4.1. Very close game. And the Steelers are playing the Reds this weekend, and it's going to be quite interesting because at the current moment the Reds are in 10th and the Steelers are in 11th, and I think it's going to be a pretty good game and one that I pretty desperately want to win. So yeah, let's go for a big win out there at the WACA this weekend. Moving on, the next game was the first game on Sunday afternoon, the Roosters against the Panthers, and the Panthers had a pretty big win. They got 35 points, the Roosters only got 28, a pretty good score, but Panthers got 35 this week and 34 last week. They're looking pretty good when they get a full team on the park. The Roosters' Matt Gillette only got 2.4, whereas the Panthers' Daly Cherry Evans got 32.6. Pretty much says the whole story there. Panthers doing very well at the moment. The next game on Sunday afternoon was the Tigers versus the Eels. Now the Tigers won this 37-20. A big win there. The Eels aren't doing too well. They had Casey Maguire score a 1.7. That doesn't help. And they also had 2 players who didn't play. So and a few single-digit scores there as well. Then they're not doing too well at the moment, the Eels. The Tigers, on the other hand, doing very well. Cooper Cronk scored 34.1, and they're just doing great guns. They had a couple of single-digit scores, but they also had some real big scores as well. David Mead scored 26.6 as well, so Tigers doing very well at the moment. Interestingly, they're still only on 8 points. They're not on top of the ladder with the Broncos, the Knights, and the Raiders, so need to look a bit more into the history there about where they've lost the game, but yeah, I see big things for them. The next game on Sunday was the Titans versus the Jets. I think I predicted the Jets to win by 1. They actually won by 2. Pretty reasonable game. Very high scoring. Cameron Smith got 27.9, and Chris Hyington only scored 2 for the Jets, and I think that might have made the difference here. There was just Hyington, I think, must have got injured or something along the way. Pretty good. The Titans and the Jets are moving along quite nicely. And then the last game is the Bears versus the Knights. The Knights lost by 2 raw points. They had 5 of their players score only single digits this week. It's very uncharacteristic. But yeah, the Bears had a pretty good game. They won. Although their highest scoring player was Mitchell Pearce with only 20.3, but they had some consistency across the ground, and that's what got them over the line. So all in all, a very good round from everyone. I'm scared because I thought I was starting to go well, but now everyone else is getting high scores as well. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, like I said, looking forward to playing the Reds this weekend. Looking forward to some more big games, and it's starting to get pretty interesting here in the FRL. Until then, enjoy your league lovers.